Lovely to have you here.
Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. And I'd like to have a little bit of conversation with you, and if you could share, for me, for everyone else as well, a little bit of your story, how you found me, how you found my first class, when you arrived, how you felt afterwards, and just how did it all started? Because it's been a while ago.
Oh my gosh, yes. I mean, over 4 years, almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
And it was just around lockdown time, just before that actually. And one of my friends said, oh, I'm going to a retreat. Julia's running a retreat. And I said, oh, I'd like to come along. And it was at Toft Manor. And I came along, and bearing in mind, I'd done yoga in one shape or form for many years, since I was 18, and now I'm quite old now. So it wasn't like yoga was new to me or anything, but I came along to your retreat and I thought, Julia's really different, a different yoga teacher, really authentic, and I just loved participating in your class at that retreat, and I thought, yes, this is what I would like to do more of. And at that time I was going to a gym and I was doing yoga as well, as a class, and it was, it was fine, but it was just almost going through the motions of yoga.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
And so when I went to the first retreat, or it was my first experience in your classes, I thought, this is different. This is really different for me. And and then of course we had lockdown, and you started to give an online offering of yoga classes, which was brilliant for me because I was working from home. And it ticked all the boxes, but it was more than that. It was more than just a yoga class. It was, I don't know, your way with people is just so lovely, and you engender this feeling of family within the group, and so you immediately feel part of something bigger, something more than just going to a class. And do you want me to go on?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you how you felt after the first class, but then you carried on, which I love that, because I think I think when it starts flowing, how you, not just from your first experience, and of course my next question will be diving deeper into the whole of your journey with me, that obviously you've been with me over this 5 years. I think you've been so consistent, showing up on a mat 3-4 times a week. It's been absolutely amazing. Seeing you is just a joy. But you have this, like the consistency on the mat every week. So has it, what sort of kept you going? Was it...
I think it's because it's different just turning up at a yoga class. That's the difference for me. There's so much more. It's the holistic side of things. And when we went to Ikaria and on the retreat, and we're probably going to talk about that in a little bit more detail in a minute, but we know that the blue zone country or zones are there. Longevity is, there's multiple factors for longevity, and one of them is networking, community, feeling part of a community. And I think that's really why I do turn up so consistently. It's more than just the yoga. It's
okay. So thank you. So let's talk about a little bit of. So I think you've been to all of my retreats. I have to say possibly. So I think over the last 5 years I've done day retreat. I don't know, I stopped counting, over 10 maybe. Weekend retreat I've done in UK, in Norfolk. mainly. There'd be few and a consecutive sort of year, 3-4 years. Toft Manor, and then last year in Ikaria. So was it? So for me, obviously, it's lovely to see you every time, and I feel now it's going to be a retreat that you're not going to come. It's going to be kind of weird because it's like Theresa's not there. Yeah, exactly. So I can't start this retreat without. But was it anything kind of specific that either retreat, or was there a moment or kind of more transformative for you in the moment? So all of those retreats you attended, was it anything that, I don't want to put the word into your mouth, but was it anything more? Was it the place that you went, or was it the people, as you say, the people and community? Because I feel every retreat I had, I enjoyed it in terms of the people showed up. I think it's how the people come together in the same sort of way, the focus, why they're there. I think that's so important, isn't it? It's like finally we're not going drinking in the bar, we're going to go to practicing yoga and being mindful and looking after ourselves and taking time for ourselves and slow down. And I think sharing this with people that you don't even know, it's quite amazing experience.
Yes.
But have you got a moment in your mind or the place that you liked?
I mean, Ikaria was amazing, absolutely amazing, and I would recommend, obviously you're going this year, and I would have loved to have been able to go. Obviously, I've explained to you, domestic situations haven't enabled me to, but I think...
Maybe I should cancel that.
Reschedule it. But yes, I think Ikaria was incredible, and as you say, you don't need the going out, partying, drink. No, the whole the way that you ran the retreat last year in Ikaria. Yes, we did beautiful yoga in the morning, and then we did the restorative yoga in the evening. But in the intervening time, then we would go on hikes, we would go to the beach, all together. We would do cooking, a Ikarian cooking class, went to thermal waters. It was so well thought out, so well planned, and you never thought, oh gosh, this is a little bit slow, or no, it was just always, but not stressful, not rushed, just a perfect balance really of yoga and things that you would maybe not normally do when you...
A Icarian way of life.
The Icarian way of life.
Yeah.
And of course, the dancing, dancing in the village, up in the hills in the evening, beautiful. So, and with a group of people that were just lovely, and I'm certain that it's because of the way that you are that everybody else is of that mind then, and yes, it just perfect, really.
Well, thank you. Lovely. So let's go. I'd like to, when we talk about personal growth, I'd like to ask you if there is something that when you started 5 years ago with me that you felt like you're a different person, or something has changed. Would you say that there is a change of, I don't know, you've grown a little bit, or in which sort of aspects, or...
Yes, I think that the way that you run your classes, that sounds very systematic, doesn't it? But what I mean is, it's not just about practicing yoga for you. You bring in the spiritual aspects, the sort of the longevity, the wellness aspects, but not in a overt way. It's in a very subtle. That sounds a bit sinister, doesn't it? But what I mean is, you bring all of those elements in, and so that for me has been transformative, because I really just, when I was practicing yoga, prior to you, BJ, before Julia.
BJ, I remember. Remember that? BJ. Not BC, BJ.
Before Julia, I just practiced yoga, and it was quite, well, here I am.
It was
I
quite
turned up,
physical.
downward dog.
It was quite physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
now,
nothing wrong with that.
No.
Initially, I think it's,
no.
but it loses. To me, I think it loses the texture, the depth
Yes.
of the practice. What it's about. Like if we don't have intention, it's
Yes.
sometimes yeah.
And I've practiced yoga other places in the world. I've practiced in India with my own yogi.
Oh,
and
yes, of course.
yes, for a week. And it's different, but I don't get the same out of it as a class with you.
Oh, thank
So
you.
there we are. Yes.
Well, but it's not just the class, isn't it? It's just the continuity and
Yes.
it's just the overall,
Yeah.
isn't it? Because I find sometimes the people that just come for one class, it's just like anything else. It's just the taste of it, isn't it? It's,
Yes.
I think the transformation comes with a sort of showing up and consistency and.
Yes, that's very true.
And is it? I just wanted to ask you about if there has been maybe in your life anything that supported you. Maybe would you say that the yoga also supported you not just physically but maybe mentally and emotionally? That
Yeah,
has it
definitely.
been?
As you know, my daughter was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma over 3 years ago now, and really having your yoga community of practice, whatever you want to call it, there was just incredible for me, incredible support. It just helps you if you're going through that sort of, an immense stress, of course, and then the treatment that my daughter went through over 3 years, but having that support network sitting behind me, I don't know what sort of state I would have been in otherwise. So, thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm glad that she's well. So that's
Yes,
she's
yes.
doing really
Doing
well.
well,
So
doing really
that's
well.
it must be such a relief.
Yes, definitely.
And
of course
she's been coming to my classes
Of
for
course.
many years. So
Of
that's,
course,
yeah.
and so we see her sometimes. She comes
Oh, yeah.
to the online
She-
classes in the morning, doesn't she?
Yeah, and you're coming to retreat in Toftmanna soon.
Yes,
In about a
yes.
week's time. So
With my daughter-in-law as well,
Yeah,
and
your mother-in-law.
yeah.
Is it mother-in-law?
Well, my
my-
daughter-in-law's mother.
Yeah,
There we are.
there you go.
It's all very
I
complicated.
know. All right, and would you recommend my services to other people?
Definitely, 110%.
Have you also, you've done, so you come to my group classes, but you've taken the one-to-one sessions as well with me in the
Yes,
past?
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Is there anything you prefer, or?
I think I do love the one-to-ones, but my time at the moment is a little bit constricted. But I would totally recommend one-to-ones for people who maybe they might get more out of it than a group session, possibly.
Yeah.
Or, people have specific needs.
Yes.
You have some clients that have specific physical needs that maybe a one-to-one suits them better.
Yeah.
So I think it's really, but I love the group classes, both online and in the studio, equally. They bring different things, I think.
Yes.
But
I think is that online is more just sort of we always know that we need to get on with our lives and with our day work.
Yes.
So
it's the way everyone says bye.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a little chat in the morning. Yeah, but it's something different and much more. I think community-based, isn't it, when you are in a studio and you got
and on a retreat as well.
Yeah, on a retreat, and then you can go more into the depth of
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah. And I just wanted to ask you the last question about what does living well means for you, if you ever thought about it.
Yes, living well. Well, we always talk quite a lot about food. Food's so important, how we ensure that we're getting the correct nutrition, all these things. Living well, also making sure that you've got a good community around you, that you're communicating well with other people. And you're trying to get in all your physical exercise, spiritual well-being. Maybe that's just yourself spiritually, but also interacting with other people as well. So yeah, really, I think you've set up the longevity Facebook group, and you know you've got so many great ideas that you know we can all tap into. So, and you bring a lot of that into the discussions that we have both before, after class, and even during, you know. So it triggers thoughts and you're like, oh yeah, actually I need to think about that. So it's brilliant having that.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That you have something to think about after you finish the class. It's not just...
Hey, Julie mentioned that. Let me have a think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about this Facebook woman's longevity, because I'm trying to organize some kind of seasonal in a lovely place close by where we can all gather for about 3 hours. So that would be something as well.
Yes.
But
and your walking group as well.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, again, it's stimulating this feeling of being part of a community.
So it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to. That's
it will do.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, folks. These are all criteria for why blue zone countries are blue zone countries, apart from having to live till you're 100.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, that's not the. I don't necessarily want to live to over 100 if I'm going to be in poor health. So I think it's living for us as long as you can in a healthy and happy state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well, thank you. We have a drink here, so we're going to be drinking this because this is beetroot juice.
Beetroot juice, lovely.
All about bringing more blood flow. You know, this is obviously for those who know this, but the beetroot juice got a lot of
polyphenols.
Yes, but it also brings the blood flow into your lungs, so it's really good for the lungs and heart, and it's fantastic if you exercise or you run or even before or after yoga. It really opens up. It's almost like opens up your heart, but brings a lot of blood flow. So really, immune boost. Cheers!
Cheers! Yes.
No, this is not alcohol. This is
no,
beetroot juice.
Delicious.
Oh, this is amazing.
Delicious. Julia just knocked this up last night, you know.
Oh yeah, it feels great, huh? It's these kind of shots that you feel straight away like, a bit of health there.
Yes, that's right.
Anyway, Theresa, thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey. And I hope I'll be here, and I hope that I will be supporting you and supporting you in a way that whatever you need as a support from me in the next upcoming years. Hopefully we'll do this every 5 years.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
when
you're getting older.
No, definitely not. Younger. As we're getting older, we're getting younger. So I hope I'll support you in any way that you need, and I can't wait to see you in my retreats again, and tonight yoga, and then tomorrow, and then so forth.
Yes,
so,
it's just like having you as part of my family.
Yes, you are my family. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, darling.